Hello, this is Ife Madzimoyo reading my original essay, Making Our Own Sense Should We Make and Use Our Own Currency? In these tough economic times and the ones that have come before, many communities suffer, waiting for large corporations and government to invest in their businesses and provide jobs. Some of these same communities have chosen to invest into themselves and their communities. Rather than to wait for others' investments, they've created their own local trade and currency systems. Many of these communities have been successful at building community strength and resources, saving money, building up their local economies, and building a stronger, more cooperative community. There are over 40 such communities using their own local currencies in the U.S. right now. Should we do the same in our own Black community? Let's look at some communities who have implemented their own currencies over the last 2 decades for some answers. Ithaca, New York offers one example. This small community was one of the first in America since the Great Depression to implement their own currency. Starting in 1991, the people of this small college town created Ithaca Hours, where each hour is equal to 1 hour of work or 10 U.S. dollars. This monetary system, which functions much like an expanded barter system, brings people and their services closer together and makes sure this money never leaves the community. During times eerily like those we are experiencing today, the people of Ithaca created this system when the economy was down, money was low, and many were underemployed or unemployed. This system allowed Ithacans to get many of the things that they needed from each other, instead of having to pay for a service or product with U.S. dollars that they didn't have. This community currency also brought people closer together since they were trading with each other, person to person, as opposed to buying from big chains that did not accept the local Ithaca currency. Building our own currency system can benefit us in the same way. Our community is grappling with job loss, foreclosure, inflation, etc., that often leaves our income flows drained or severely stopped up. In these hard economic times, we are our own best solution. During times like these, it is likely that we will have little money, but as long as we have skills, products, and services to offer, we can have what we need if we use what we have. The circulation of our own currency would build up our own Black local economy. Having a unique circulating currency that is only accepted locally will ensure that our money literally never leaves our community because it cannot be used outside of our community. Traditional Buy Black campaigns will get a needed boost because a local Black currency system would help us trade with each other to keep our businesses alive, when others will only accept currency that we have little of. Membership in this currency system provides a platform to better spread our resources to each other. It can allow us to acquire much of what we need without being dependent on the outside or national economy for money to buy everything we need, both products and services. Black self-reliance. It's been a dream of many, from Martin Delaney to Marcus Garvey. Ithaca did it, so can we. A local Black currency would greatly encourage and motivate many of our people to become entrepreneurs, to develop skills, services, and products of their own, therefore enabling them to have something to offer for this unique trade system. This concept alone could uplift our community and put us to work in all new ways, and perhaps give our youth and elders a sense of purpose. Elson, an Ithaca resident who retired in 1972, earns hours doing heating and air conditioning consulting. He says, "This hour system takes me back 20 years and makes me feel constructive again." This cooperative system could change the way we educate our children, calling us to put more emphasis on building concrete skills that are useful in our own community as opposed to primarily serving those outside of it. This, in turn, could also increase the power of the local economy. During the Great Depression of the 30s, many local currencies sprang up, allowing communities to survive the worst economic crisis in U.S. history. Many of us today don't know or fully understand how the American monetary system works. We often don't understand where our money comes from or what it is used for by the government and large multinational corporations. We often don't know that it facilitates and is dependent upon the perpetual growth of debt. According to Crystal Arnold, in Creating Currency for a Resilient Local Economy, economic textbooks describe money according to its functions: a store of value, a medium of exchange, and a standard of valuation. Money itself is actually a symbol of exchange that carries value through agreement only. In America, that agreement is that U.S. legal tender will be accepted to pay all debts. If that agreement was not held and our money was not accepted for the exchange of goods and services, our dollars would mean absolutely nothing. So why not create and honor our own agreements? Doing so would create a beneficial flow of money into our community without supporting the oppressive monetary system currently established throughout the country, nor the destruction and domination that it funds throughout the world. With this cooperative economic system, we could do more than build a sustainable economy. That we don't trust each other in business is a product of our oppression and generally accepted as a major problem in the black community's economic development. Our own currency system could easily open the doorways to building the sustainable relationships, trust, and cooperation we need to build our own sustainable economic sources. The constant trade utilized in local currency systems makes it easier to meet and get to know the people of a community, as well as the skills and products they have to offer, allowing for a richer and more valued interaction on a social and economic level. Many communities have expressed the closeness they've achieved as a result of using local currency. Many times, using an independent, sustainable economic system can have people begin to think of other independent, sustainable systems and ventures, like renewable energy and community gardens. These can be implemented due to the strengthened community relationships brought about by the trade of a local currency. This puts more community power into our hands, says Steve Burke, who sells postcards and T-shirts in Ithaca. Steve says, local currency makes local self-sufficiency more possible. It helps protect our local environment and resource base so that economic activity doesn't damage the ecological base of the region. With the collective community power that would come by using our own currency, would also come the power to control what we do with it. In Ithaca, New York, they give loans in Ithaca hours, which can now be used for anything from a haircut to rent to the partial purchase of a home. Because the money belongs to the community, they can lend it the way they want to and choose to give loans without interest. Another community in Canada contributed a portion of their money to community gardens, thanking them for their role in the community and enabling them to use the money for the gardens. Imagine us funding the building of a local community center or the legal defense of a falsely accused youth. Wouldn't it be great for our community to have capital of our own to use the way we want it to? This system is a powerful one that can be implemented for the direct benefit of our community. Enabling this system would provide a way for us to build and thrive, even when the country is in bad shape. It could decrease the amount of financial suffering in our community by using what we do have to offer as solutions. This circulation would build our local economy, put more people to work, and enable them to access goods and services they need but often can't pay for in U.S. legal tender. Though basically a complementary currency, a black community currency system would be a bold move toward independent social and economic power that we so desperately need in our community. Given the many benefits that this option provides, and given the dire needs in our community, I'm inspired by Dr. Martin Luther King, who in his Riverside Church speech while I opposed the war in Vietnam on April 4, 1967, called for a radical redistribution of political and economic wealth. With the election of Barack Obama, some will say that we've achieved some measure of political strength, but no one pretends that economic wealth has been redistributed. In fact, according to the June 2008 issue of The Nation magazine, the recent predatory lending schemes have transferred $213 billion from black and Hispanic communities. If we are to fulfill King's dream of redistributed wealth, we must realize that the wealth is within us, in our trust of each other, and in our trading with each other. Let's create our own currency system to do just that. Thank you very much. That was my original essay, Making Our Own Sense. Should we create and use our own black currency?